So let's look at problem number 1, where we're looking at properties of logarithms. And what we're trying to do is we want to express this as a single logarithm. So what we're going to use here is the rule at the top left hand corner, which is the product rule. So anytime you have the log base b mn, it equals log base b of m plus log base b n. So log base a of 36 plus log base a of 7, you would have to change the addition to multiplication. So I'm going to rewrite this that way. So I will have log base a of 36 times 7, which is equal to the log base a of 252. Okay? Now, let's look at problem number 2. We have 1/2 log n plus 3 log m. Well, we have coefficients 1/2, we have coefficient 3. And so to actually express this as a single logarithm, we have to take 2 steps. One, we have to use the power rule, and one, we have to use the product rule. You see that you have p, which is your coefficient in front of your logarithm. Okay, that p has to become your exponent. So you will move that here, and you will move that here, and those will be your exponents. So we're going to rewrite that as log n to the 1/2 plus log m to the 3rd power. Okay, so what we've used is our power rule. Now we only have a plus there, so we must use the product rule, which means that we have to multiply m and n together. So I will rewrite that as log of n to the 1/2 times m to the 3rd, which is log m to the 3rd times the square root of n. You can leave it as is because either one of these answers is correct. Okay? So now we've applied the product rule and we have finished our problem. Now let's look at problem number 3. We're going to take 1/2 log a minus log 3, and we're going to express it as a single logarithm. So here again, we're going to use the power rule, which states that if you have any value in front of your log, and that's your coefficient, you make that your exponent. And we're going to use the quotient rule, which states that if you're subtracting 2 logarithms, what you have to do is divide. So log base b of m divided by n is log base b of m minus log base b of n. So for me to express this as a single logarithm, what I have to do is make that coefficient an exponent. So I'm going to say log a to the 1/2 minus log 3. Okay, now I have to subtract these. So I use my quotient rule, which means I have to divide m and n. So we have log of a to the 1/2 divided by 3. So what we will get here is log, you can say the square root of a divided by 3. But either one of those answers is correct. So the first rule that we applied was the power rule, and the second was the quotient rule. Now let's look at problem number 4. We want to express again as a single logarithm. So we have 1/5 log a of x minus 1/3 log ay. So this time we're going to use the same methods that we used the first time. We're going to use the power rule, and we're going to use the quotient rule. So P is 1/5 and 1/3, which has to become our exponent. So we're going to move this here, and we're going to move this here. And that's what we're going to do first. So I'm going to rewrite this as log base ax to the 1/5 minus log base ay to the 1/3. Okay, so we've taken care of that. So only take care of it one time. Don't do it more than once. Just once apply these formulas or these properties. So therefore now we have to use our quotient rule. So we have a subtraction, we have to divide. So we have log base a of x to the 1/5 divided by y to the 1/3. That is our final answer. Okay, now let's go on to problem number 5. This problem we have log 0.01 plus log 1000. We're adding this again, so we're going to use the product rule again to this problem. There's one thing that's different. We have to simplify it. So that means that we're going to multiply these products together. So we have 0.01 times 1000, which equals log of 10. But when you're not given a base, always know that we're looking at base 10. Okay, and a property states that when this number is the same as your base number, it will equal to 1. So we're using log base b of b is equal to 1. So our answer is 1. Okay? All right, let's move on to problem number 6. We have log a 75 plus log a 2. Again, we're adding these, which means we have to use the product rule and we have to multiply them. So we have log base a of 75 times 2, which is equal to log base a of 150. Okay? Now let's move on to problem number 7. Now we have 1/2 log base a of x plus 4 log ay minus 3 log ax. We want to express it as a single logarithm. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to use 3 properties. We're going to use the power rule, we're going to use the quotient rule, and we're going to use the product rule. So remember with the power rule, I always start with the power rule. For some reason it's easier to start that way. So I'm going to take all of my coefficients and write them as exponents. As you can see, that's what our rule tells us to do. So this becomes log a x to the 1/2 plus log a y to the 4th minus log ax to the 3rd. Now, I have a plus and a minus that I have to deal with. So I have the product rule and I have the quotient rule. So what I would do is this. I would take the product rule first. And so that's going to be log base A of x to the 1/2 times y to the 4th. And I'm going to subtract that from log base A of x to the 3rd. Now you can see I only have subtraction. So that means that I have to apply the quotient rule. So I have log base A of x to the 1/2 y to the 4th divided by x to the 3rd. So the only thing that I have to do now is I have bases that are the same, so I have to subtract their exponents. So I have x to the 1/2, I have to subtract 3. And when I do that, I have to multiply by our denominator. So I have x to the negative 5/2. So I have log A x to the negative 5/2 y to the 4th. And I want to go a little further with that because I don't want the negative exponent there. I can leave it there. That is fine as far as your answer because I didn't ask you to simplify. But I just want to go further and say that is the log A of y to the 4th divided by x to the 5 divided by 2. Okay? So that is how we would do those problems. Note, we had to use the power rule, then I use the product rule, and then I use the quotient rule. So as you can see, the only thing that we're doing is applying those rules. Now my class is a little different because I did go over the problems with you, but I also want to give you a quiz on properties of the logarithm. The multiple choice is you're going to choose the best answer, and each question is worth 20 points, 100 total. What I've given you are the properties of logarithms. I have all of the properties, I have the rules, and I have examples of those rules. So if you want to just study all of the properties to help you with the quiz or before you take the quiz, that will help you on your quiz. Here is our quiz layout. I'm going to give you 4 answer choices, and the problem will be just like our basic notes were. It's right there in the middle of the page. It's big enough so that you can see. And somewhere you write down which choice you actually have determined. And so I'm just going to show you that we have 5 questions. I also have an answer key. So when you're finished, you can make sure that your answers are correct. And then I have a way to compute your grade. So you get the number that you have correct and you multiply it by 20%, and that's how you compute your grade. If you make an 80% or more, I think that you have a great understanding of properties of logarithms. Okay? If you make a 60 or below, I think that you need to really study those properties more and try to do more examples. Thanks so much for your time. Until next time, bye.